donut, you usually kind of start a little bit wide and it'll work its way in a little bit tighter. So a little e-brake, get the donut started, and then just modulate the throttle. Obviously an all-wheel drive car is going to spin better. And then just keep it going, go another way. Alright, snow and a Subaru means we're gonna go have some fun tonight. I gotta fire this guy up, let it run for a bit. Okay, let's see what the cold start sounds like here. Have a listen. Today, I wanted to spend a little bit of time to talk about getting out of control so you can be in control. Now, I know that sounds like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's an analogy that I've kind of lived most of my driving career by, and that is that you don't know how to be in control if you have no idea what it's like to be out of control. So the best way to be in control is to practice getting out of control so you know exactly what to do in scenarios like that. Now, a lot of drivers today would never ever do something like this, and that's fine. But what we want to do is show you guys how to try to get your car out of control and to see how you can do on actually being able to control it. So my parking lot of choice to try sliding and to do donuts is and there's a couple reasons for that. One, I'm here weekly and I'm very familiar with the parking lot layout. And two, I'm a member. So I spend a lot of money here and I feel like the least they could do to return the favor is let me do donuts in their parking lot. So that's why I choose. It's pretty open. And as I said, I know the layout of the parking lot and that's going to be our first point. So if you are interested in trying something like this, it is very important to scout your parking lot for curbs, for cart returns, for lampposts, for all kinds of obstacles, because the last thing you want to do is be sliding your car out of control and put it sideways into a curb, because you will completely total it. So now your car of choice might be a little bit different, and that's something we need to talk about as well. Preferably if you are going to be attempting to do donuts, you're probably going to want to be in a rear-wheel drive car or an all-wheel drive car. Very tough to do donuts in a front-wheel drive car unless you're doing reverses. Of course, you want to slide in a front-wheel drive car, you can. You can always just try e-braking around and even turning left or right to get your car to feel like the weight transfer and to see what it's like to kind of slide out of control a little bit. But for sure, ideally, an all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive car would be your preferred car of choice to try to attempt stuff like this. This car in particular, as I said, is a 2012 STI. This car has a turbo upgrade and a built block and some other goodies along with it. So this car definitely has the power to slide no problem, which is obviously wonderful. But yeah, I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to zoom in, and one thing that's very important to do is to be able to slide, you need to be able to turn off your traction control. So as you can see, I pushed the button once and we got the green button come up for traction control off. In this case though, that's only going to give us traction control. That's not getting rid of stability. And to slide sideways, we want stability off, otherwise it'll try to pull us back straight when we do get sideways. So what I'm going to do is a longer button hold on the traction. Should turn orange. There we go. It says traction and stability off, which now will let us do donuts. But once again, before we do donuts, it's very important to check out the parking lot. So let's go for a little drive. And as I said, you want to be aware of your surroundings and know exactly what to expect. I'm in this parking lot all the time, so I know where all the curbs are. There's curbing there. There's curbing and trees back there. Over here, there's curbs. There's a cart return here. There's gonna be a cart return up on the left, but where you gotta be careful in this parking lot, so there's cart return there on the left, but there's curbs sitting in the middle there. You can see it right there as we're coming past it. So of course, you wanna stay in the middle whenever driving down an aisle like this. I know there's a curb here at the end, and this is obviously coming around, and this back section's quite open right there. There's curbing beside me, and now this is a new lane again with cart return. This lane as well, or this aisle, once again has a cart return in the middle, and of course a curb on that side. So once again, you need to be very, very careful where you choose to try to get out of control, because this is supposed to be a safe exercise, not a dangerous one. And it's supposed to be fun, let's be honest. We're here to do some fun. But yeah, so tip number one to you is to scout your parking lot, know exactly what you're working with, make sure there's no surprise curbs, speed bumps, anything like that. Alright, so if you've never gone a car sideways before or out of control, my very first tip to you would be to do exactly that. Just drive in a straight line. I'm coming down this back aisle section, I know, or back lane, sorry. I know there's a curb to my left, so I'm going to avoid that. But all you want to do is just kind of drive and maybe give the e-brake a little pull. There we are sideways, and pretty much almost did a full donut. So I pulled the emergency brake and then spun the car around. This is a great exercise just for you to be able to feel what it's like to get out of control and realize it's not that scary. And of course, if you know what to do to combat stuff like this, it can make your driving so much better, especially when you're out on the road, because getting sideways with traffic is a whole different scenario. And if you know what to do or how to react, it can definitely help you become a better driver. So another thing I will sometimes do just for practice is simply just turning the wheel left to right while driving at a slow speed in the parking lot. Once again, being aware of my surroundings, but just left and right, just to see what it feels like. And if you turn a little bit sharper, you can kind of feel the back end wanting to step out a little bit. And this is something that we can best describe as what we call weight transfer. When you're turning the wheel and you're getting the car weight loaded the other way, that's ideally one of the best times to potentially kick the car out of control, if that makes sense, or say put it into a slide, is whenever you are experiencing weight transfer like that. The other thing you can do at a point like that is whenever you are going side to side is simply pull on the e-brake, and it'll really help you obviously try to get a donut going or to completely spin you out of control. Okay, so my next step here is just to try putting some stuff together, trying to do that left-right, a little bit of e-brake action, a little bit of throttle action, and kind of just put something together just to kind of drive around the parking lot a little loose, getting the back end, as I said, sliding around a little bit, and just seeing what it feels like. So I'm gonna just kind of drive up and down the aisles here, little e-brake here, a little bit of throttle, do a little e-brake here. I know where the things are in the middle. Just back and forth, getting that back end dancing a little bit. Little e-brake there. Now this isn't like off to the races or anything crazy. And you know what? We'll try a donut as well. So with a donut, you usually kind of start a little bit wide and it'll work its way in a little bit tighter. So a little e-brake, get the donut started, and then just modulate the throttle. Obviously, an all-wheel drive car is going to spin better. other way. There you have it. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And as I said, the best way to do this is in big open parking lots or parking lots that you're very familiar with. And you don't need crazy speed. You don't need to get absolutely out of this world fast. I've been ripping around in first, second gear as an example. But just to feel what it's like. Be mindful of curbs, obviously. Be mindful of stop signs or any signs. And just give the e-brake a little tug here and there just to see what it feels like. And then steer it with the throttle and the steering wheel. Well guys, I hope you found today's video somewhat informative. Obviously remember to practice sliding sideways safely. And as I said, I can't stress this enough to make sure to sight out where you're sliding before ever trying to. But I can promise you guys this, if you do practice stuff like this, it will make you one hell of a better driver than you currently are. Especially if you've never had a car out of control before and you don't know what it feels like. There's no better way to actually practice to see what it feels like to get your car out of control. And in return, you being able to combat it, or even if you're in the parking lot, say, get the car out of control and see if you can regain control without letting it actually spin out. So that's one of the other exercises that I'll usually sometimes do, is simply pull the e-brake, get the back end out, and counter steer the other way to see if you can get the car back straight again and continue on driving. These little tips will make you such a better driver. And this is the type of stuff that you don't learn at driver's ed. They don't teach you how to do this when you're going to get your licensing. And I know the police frown upon it, but in reality, if you're trying to become a better driver and safer for the road, I don't understand why they would be so upset at you trying to practice being out of control so you can be in control in an empty, vacant parking lot. Like, really? Anyways, that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to smash that like button and please consider subscribing to my small channel, and I'll bring you guys more fun tips.